welcome to the Wolfchase Toyota Insider, the Memphis Tiger Network. I'm Jeff Bridle alongside Richard Mulrooney. And, Coach, the season is now underway. We're able to get results on the road. I know a disappointing loss at home the other night, but let's start off up at Belmont, scoreless draw.
Yeah, absolutely. Got up there. Thought we started the game off really well. I thought we tried to knock the ball around, and Belmont is the type of team that they're a little bit more direct, so when they win it, they try to capitalize to getting behind you. And I thought, you know, we handled that well defensively. I thought we had some opportunities to score early. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. And I think as the game went on, they got a better feel for the game, and maybe we lost our composure a bit. And so that turned into a bit of a battle. And by the end of it, to be honest with you, I thought they sort of changed their philosophy and had some opportunities to score. Obviously went into overtime. They had a couple more. I thought Jake came up with some big saves. So I wouldn't say we're fortunate to get out of there with a tie because I thought we had a chance to win it. But by the end of the game, they were definitely pressing us, so I think it was a fair result, 0-0.
And a little bit unfamiliar scenery. Of course, being on the road's one thing, but also on a turf field up there. You get a chance to get on that turf field on the Park Avenue campus every now and then, but you don't play on it regularly.
Definitely different. It's like I always compare. It's like if you went to go play golf on field turf compared to grass, it's different. You know, you play basketball on concrete compared to wood, it's just different. Same thing with soccer. If you play on field turf, whether it's hot out, the ball will stick a little bit more. If it's wet, it gets real greasy out. So, yes, we don't train on it a lot just because I do think natural grass is the best way to perform and keep your body in shape and everything. But at the same time, it's part of the game. A lot of my kids grew up playing on that. So that's not the reason why we won, lost, or tie, and then we have 4 or 5 more games on it this year. But it's definitely a different style of game when you play on it.
Came home over the weekend, a 3-0 loss to UAB. I know you were more disappointed, maybe in the mental aspect going into it.
Yeah, you know, we obviously it's always a big rivalry. UAB's well coached like usual, and whether we play them in the fall or spring, it's just it's a match that we're usually up for. And I think we actually had an opportunity in the first 5 or 10 minutes again to maybe grab the lead, which I think changes things up, you know, depending on how they play. But we missed that, and you know, I would like to say that yeah, they were firing all cylinders, and unfortunately, we weren't necessarily up for it mentally or physically. Second game of the year, but you know, disappointing nonetheless. So we're going to learn from our mistakes, get back at it at practice today, and be ready for our upcoming game against Kentucky.
Good news, it's just 2 matches into the season.
That's right. You know, it's not the end of the world. You know, I think if I'm not mistaken, I had 5 and 6 guys starting each match that had their first NCAA Division I sort of feel to it. So, you know, it's a learning process. At the same time, it's not an excuse. It's a team that I believe that we could have gone out and gotten a result in. But I also think we got good experience from it, and hopefully we learn from our mistakes.
Having the mental focus is going to be real key this week. You've got a scheduled game over at CBU against Kentucky Saturday at 7. We all know the weather situation. Potentially that game could be moved. Right now it is still on for CBU, but make sure you pay attention to GoTigersGo.com, the social media on Twitter and Facebook, if there are any location changes over to the Park Avenue campus. But saying that, they've just got to be ready to play regardless of where the location is.
100%. You know, it's still the same ball, still the 90-minute game, still might be a different field, but it'll be a grass field nonetheless. So, yes, we just have to keep our focus, and you can't control the uncontrollables. Obviously, Mother Nature might come in, but at the same time, the game will be played against a solid Kentucky team. I don't know necessarily where they stand in their results yet. I haven't looked at that. I was obviously paying attention to more of my team this last weekend, but we'll do a little bit more research on Kentucky. But nonetheless, if they won the first 2, lost the first 2, or only played 1, it doesn't matter. We have to come up and show up and play our style. And if we don't do that, it could be another long game. But I'd like to bet on it that we're going to show up and make a competition out of it.
And then another quick turnaround because you got to get on the road Sunday because you'll be playing a Monday night game up at SIU Edwardsville.
Another one, yeah, absolutely. So it's flipped around from the first week where we traveled, then came home. Now it's home and then travel. SIUE just obviously located right outside of St. Louis. Very familiar with them. We play them every year as well. We went there a couple years ago. I remember it was an afternoon game, and this one being an evening, it shouldn't be as hot, but they play on field turf as well. So again, it's just a matter of the staff will start preparing for that as the week goes on, but we need to focus on Kentucky. That's a big enough match that that takes care of itself. But the SIUE match, again, they're if I'm not mistaken, an NCAA tournament team last year. They're going to be a handful as well, but again, we're focusing on Kentucky.
I was going to say, just to touch on SIU Edwardsville, maybe not the biggest name that you hear about all the time, but a very solid program because you mentioned being outside of St. Louis, they draw on that Catholic School League in St. Louis that puts out a lot of good players.
Ton of players. We've obviously recruited a lot of the players that are in the St. Louis area. Some of them go to SIUE, some SLU, but nonetheless, it's a soccer hotbed. So to say that, yeah, this is a walkthrough game, not a chance. I know the coaching staff very well. I think he's done a great job of not necessarily turning that program, but obviously being consistently a competitive team. our hands will be full with that game. So it's a game that we better not overlook. I don't think our guys would, but at the same time, the staff needs to do their due diligence in terms of the research and being ready for it. And obviously, it's a quick turnaround with the travel up on the bus. So we'll be up for it. But like I said, Kentucky's our first one up, and we have to stay focused on that.
Coach, thanks a lot.
Anytime.
Remember, pay attention to GoTigersGo.com and the men's soccer social media on Twitter and Facebook in case there are any changes for that Kentucky game. For head coach Richard Mulrooney, I'm Jeff Brightwell for the Wolfchase Toyota Insider on the Memphis Tiger Network.